Iga Swiatek versus Naomi Osaka, the current world number one versus a former world number one. They've both won 4 Grand Slam titles. They've played today, just now, on the clay at Roland Garros, and this is our post-match reaction.
And what a match it was. It definitely delivered. Well, Iga, she's the 2-time reigning champion in a row. She was going for 3 and she was nearly out. She saved a match point against Naomi Osaka and she ran the gauntlet. I have to say, Iga, she showed something in herself today that we didn't even think that she was going to have to show, and that was digging deep against someone we don't even really consider a clay court player in Naomi Osaka.
Yeah, it's pretty mental. Like you say, we never see Iga in a situation where she can lose. And when she wins the first set, it's usually nailed on. I mean, the statistics are crazy. They speak volumes. Let's go through this match. And we've got a good tweet here from Jose Morgado. And he says, incredible. World number one and defending Iga Swiatek comes back from 2-5, love 30 in the third. She saves a match point and defeats former world number one and fellow 4-time slam champion Naomi Osaka 7-6, 1-6, 7-5 in 3 hours to reach the third round of Roland Garros, and that's now 16 consecutive wins in Paris. There's so many different things to dissect from this tweet, and it highlights a lot of the big moments. If we just look at the fact that the first set was a tie break to begin with, that could have gone either way. Osaka was looking really good in that set. I thought she was going to win it the way she was playing. Iga did so well to dig in. Her second serves were being attacked so much. In the second set, she was getting so much joy. I think Iga was starting to second doubt herself on the second serve. You saw Osaka so close, standing there on the service line, waiting, sorry, not on the service line, on the, what's it called?
Baseline.
On the service line. It was on the service line. Just standing, waiting for them second serves and eating them up every time. The other thing I want to speak about here is the fact that it's only in the third round. It's a very unfortunate draw for both players in the fact that Osaka, I think the way she played today and the way she moved on the clay, particularly how she was sliding to defend, I think in that level of performance and the way she was able to hit with the serving on top of that, she probably would have gone very far. If she would have avoided an Iga, who's to say she couldn't have knocked out a Sabalenka or a Bacana? Would she have maybe got to the final if she was on the other half of the draw? I think the draw has not helped her out because she's played fantastically well. And Iga, as we all know, is the worst possible player to play. And on this performance, with the serving statistics, with the way she returned, particularly the second serves, she would have beaten every other player on the women's tour.
I think that the way she played today, I've never seen her move so well on a tennis court. And it actually highlighted, I think, the lack of movement that she's had in recent times on like hard courts, where she like fails to run for balls. Like, this is the surface where you get a bit more leeway on the back of the court. She was able to slide into a lot of shots, chop it back, keep the rallies going. I've never seen Naomi Osaka slide in and hit forehand winners on the clay, and she was doing it time and time again today. I was so impressed with Naomi Osaka, and I know she doesn't like even doing press at Roland Garros, and she doesn't even like playing it normally. I think this year and that performance will have really re-energized her love for maybe playing on the clay courts. She pretty much was toe-to-toe and 1 point away from knocking out the best clay court player of this generation.
You say toe-to-toe, I thought she was better for large spells, and if it wasn't for the last 15 minutes of the match, maybe 20 minutes, we would have been doing this episode with a complete different view. And that would have been Iga didn't raise to the level, and Osaka was incredible.
She was incredible.
We were so close to saying that. I mean, look at this tweet, it highlights it. Iga held at this massive moment. I mean, Osaka was 5-2 up, 30 love. She was then 5-3, 30-15, and then had a match point. She was then 5-4, 40 also deuce, so she was 2 points away there. There were so many times where she's either 2 points or 1 point away, or 1 point away. It then went to 5-all, and the rest was history. Then wasn't able to hold on. But if it wasn't for them little fine margins at little moments,
Yeah.
the big one I thought was, I think it was at the 30-15 mark, there at 5-3.
Yeah.
The ball popped over the net and Osaka hit at the forehand into the net. There was another time she hit the backhand just long, but it's just sort of there in the middle to be taken away.
It's the easy ones, yeah.
I think in them situations, because she was hitting so dominantly and hitting so hard, of course that was working for her. Iga was so far behind the baseline. I think a little simple touch or a little delicate drop shot, tactically, Osaka, in them big moments, I think could have mixed it up a little bit. And that's the only criticism I've got for Osaka. It was only one way of playing, which was working. It was brilliant, and she had Iga where she wanted her. But if she could go back in time, I'm sure she would have adjusted slightly. And there was a time where she's just on the net. Iga's nowhere near, just miles behind the baseline. A little touch over the net. It doesn't even need to be a great drop shot. There's no way Iga's going to get there. And I think the problem is her focus is constantly putting all this pressure on.
Power.
When sometimes just take a step back, calm yourself a little bit and go for it. But on the other hand, sorry, I know you want to talk, I'm probably talking a lot.
Go for it.
I really liked her enthusiasm to play tennis today. I've been very critical of Osaka in the past, how she sort of moles around the court, doesn't look too interested, a little bit slow to get to the balls. Today it was completely different. She loved being out there. She wanted to win every point. She had the desire to win this match and win the tournament. I believed in her. You saw it from the come on. You saw it with her on her toes, looking up. She was just motivated. And I think a motivated Osaka is a dangerous proposition for anyone, and it's brilliant for the sport. Any neutral watching that would have loved it. We'll get on to the crowd at the end, because it was very upsetting. I've got a lot to say on that. But with Osaka, her style of play, maybe I'm biased, I find it the most watchable on the women's tour. I think she is the most watchable tennis player by a distance. I think Iga sometimes can be a little bit boring. Sabalenka is good, but nowhere near the level of Osaka. And I think her marketability, we've seen it with sponsors and other things, and her tennis, everything about her, the whole package, her charisma, the way she speaks to the press, the way she plays the game, is very exciting. And I'm just happy that she's loving her tennis and playing really good. She's had a tough year. She's a mother now.
Yeah.
I don't think things have gone too well with her former partner.
No.
So she's there probably as a single mother. I don't know that for sure. Battling on, and life's tough. And I think she's done amazingly well to be in this position, and someone I'll really get behind.
But I think that she's really shown her worth in this match. And I think Iga today had to show her defensive qualities more than ever, because she wasn't able to get on the front foot that much, because Naomi Osaka, she's so powerful, especially on her serve. Her serve is so good. It reminded me today how good Naomi Osaka's serve is and how that can help her dominate matches. And I didn't realise it was that prevalent on a clay court. But Iga struggled to return first serves, and it was really helping her. I think Osaka came back from love 40 twice in that final set.
There was a period,
as well.
I don't know how it ended, where she saved, was it 1 out of 11?
Yeah, I mean, just insane, like saving break points from Osaka on her serve today was...
She would have saved, 10 out of 11 break points.
Unreal.
But I don't know how it ended. That's just at one period during the match.
But you saw
there was a few love 40s which were very pivotal.
At the start.
And Osaka kept coming back.
But
she was
brilliant.
fighting.
I thought it was brilliant the way she did it. Yeah, let's go to this tweet from Damien Kuss saying, unbelievable match, best level we've had from Osaka on clay by a country mile, complete domination over the baseline, most of the sets, 2 and 3, peak serving, avoiding getting dragged around the court with these rapid counters out of position. Iga got this one done out of pure grit, 1 match point saved. Totally agree. Yeah. Iga, I know there's going to be a lot of people come on here and they're probably going to be big Iga fans. They say you're talking too much about Osaka and not enough about how Iga battled through this one. We acknowledge how well Iga played to be able to get this done, but she hasn't got it done by dominating. She's got this one done by literally hanging in there and just making sure that she can make the opponent make one more mistake, and Osaka eventually made the mistakes.
I think it was on Osaka's racket, and
Yep.
she's unfortunately lost this match more than Iga's won it. Iga's just stuck in there, like you said. The serving was epic, just fine margins, few little points here and there. I think she
Yep.
could have tactically done things differently. Wasn't to be, but that's my thoughts anyway. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We love to read them all, and of course, if you haven't already, hit the like button too. The final thing to speak about before we wrap this one up is the crowds. Today, as you all know, it wasn't a great day for Roland Garros. There wasn't tennis being played at all. There was rained off.
Yep.
So there's people mulling around the grounds. And John's put this tweet out saying thousands of fans with ground passes haven't seen a point since noon or so. They milled around for hours. Maybe a few of them could have been accommodated to ensure a full house now. What are these Grand Slam events doing wrong? Because I think there's so much they're doing wrong. We've spoken about Wimbledon at depth. It's our home slam. But it's a theme across a lot of them. And for me, when you have a situation where there's nobody in these seats, they're charging X amount of money for these tickets, which is ludicrous money, crazy money, and they're not filling them up. What visual does that do for the sport? How is that a good thing? There's going to be people watching from all over the world. And we're looking at it, and the cameraman keeps going to the crowd, just empty seats. I don't think that helps the players, the occasion, the fans, growing the sport, the people there who are waiting outside, probably watching it on a screen.
Yep.
Are they not able to discount some tickets or sell them on the cheap if there's people waiting outside?
I just think it's
They've not
terrible.
been able to have the tennis, but yet they can't fill it up. I don't mind if you're charging a lot of money for tickets, but yet there's so many people who are trying to get in. But the problem is, people can't afford to pay the ticket, so they're outside, or they're watching it at a bar, or watching it at home.
Well, we've had it already
and
in
then
this
what we've
tournament.
got is an empty stadium for two of the best women's tennis players, one of the best matches of Roland Garros.
Yep.
I think it could have been even better with a better atmosphere.
Oh,
And it's
would have
only going to
been.
be a better atmosphere if they'd allow people in.
It's just terrible. And to put this into
terrible.
perspective, there were 10,000 people at Rafael Nadal's practice match before he played Sasha Zverev. 10,000 people. I don't think there was 10,000 people watching Iga
but it's 'cause
versus
it's
Osaka.
free.
Yeah, it's free, but if there's that many empty seats, I thought when we were looking at the stadium, because they only show just above where the court is, I thought, oh, they're all the expensive seats. No, it panned to the rest of the stadium, loads of empty seats. Just terrible. I think the two best players I've seen play in Roland Garros so far, I think, on the women's side. They both looked incredible today.
Iga's just won the last two editions of the tournament, and yet people aren't coming out.
Does the
I think
WTA have something to answer
100%.
to? Yeah.
It's not just a case of the ticket prices.
Promote
and
your players.
The WTA need to do something drastic with encouraging more people to watch the sport. I don't have all the answers, but it's up to everyone to come together and have a think about it. Because one thing we can all agree on is having a look at a stadium for both the players, the fans, and the tournament's perspective, with all of them empty seats, is not a good look.
Terrible.
So let's hope that can change. But yeah, ran over on that one.
I think so.
Let's wrap it up there. Thank you everyone for joining us on this post-match reaction. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let us know your thoughts on the Osaka Swiatek match. Iga, she's done it again. Somehow. She wins the first set, she comes through and wins. She saved the match point. I really was preparing for a very different episode today. I was expecting to just be speaking about Osaka, gloating about the fact that I've got her inside my top 10. Instead, that's not to be. But I'm still very encouraged that if she can now play like this on the clay, I'd put her as a contender for the US Open, certainly. It's one of her best Grand Slams. And I think she can have a really good rest of the season.
Great to see her back, to be honest. I think that was the one takeaway. I know we say it time and time again, but tennis was definitely the winner today.
Yep.
And despite Osaka losing, leaves with her head held high. She nearly took out the reigning defending champion, Iga Swiatek.
Thanks everyone, and we'll see you soon.